This is gonna be a video of how to an explanation type video, how to get your cube to work in a way like Kevin Hayes's. This is a Moyu actually. This is the ShankShao. His I know this is a little outdated because he doesn't use the ShankShao anymore, as far as I know. Well, it doesn't look like he uses it because he's been using the Aoshi and well, the Moyu one. And I know a lot of people have tried figuring out how to make their cube work like his and how to be like his. And honestly, a lot of people out there, they don't really know how to. Those that claim they do or have an idea. I'm gonna start off by saying that I'm new at this. I've never really made a YouTube video. I mean, I have one. But anyways, I just wanted to share this because I know a lot of people have really wanted to make their cubes, well, so their ShankShao 6x6s to move like his. So anyways, to start off is, I went to a competition at one time in San Jose, and I met him there. It was great. You know, I was acting like a big old huge fangirl. It was funny, not really. But anyways, so I went over there because I wanted to see how his cube worked, meet him, and to be in my first competition. I've never been to one. I didn't compete, but I just went to look at it, just, you know, be familiar how it is. I'm not a fast cuber. I mean, I'm not slow, but I mean, you know, I'm decent speed, I guess. So I asked him to try his cube out, right? I was like, oh great, I have it in my cube, you know. And you know, the conversation did feel a little one-sided because he was, I can understand, you know, he has all that attention when he goes to those competitions, and you know, after a while it gets old, so I understand that. I tried out his cube, right? The first turn, right, I was on the orange side, you know, I was like, I'm getting ready to turn, and I'm just like I'm having a hard time, and I'm just like, what is this? It felt so tight and so just stiff. I mean, the corner cutting, it didn't even really have that much. It had probably like that much corner cutting right there. And I was just like, what is this? Like, this can't be the cube. But I just saw him solve it, you know, like fast. You know, I have a video. I've opened this thing up many times before. This is actually like my fourth one I've gotten because I've screwed up a bunch of them. And this is the fourth one I've gotten, so I know the ins and outs of the cube. Now, one thing that I noticed that his cube did not do was this. Now, well, this. Look at it does this. This is one thing a lot of people don't show videos, that their cubes, they have this type of thing, you know. So when you come to a double flick, you have to flick it one more time, right? And then finish the algorithm, right? See, look at that. Now the other side doesn't do that. It's great. And his cube didn't do that. His cube went around. It just, I mean, it worked great, you know, all around each one. And that's how the Moyu one works. And you can feel it too. You can feel it. This side right here is a side that is not gonna move. And the reason for that is the way that the core works is these pieces, they just sit in there, and in this piece, the cube technically is like this, and these pieces just sit in there. I don't know if that makes some sense, but I could think. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I like the Aoshi better, because you can do that any direction. This one you can't, but anyways, I don't know what he did to his, because it had to be a mod. But what I found weird is because when I was sitting there, it was funny. Here's a little piece of when I was sitting right next to him. He was messing with his 5x5, and you know, it was pretty cool. And I was there too. It was funny because they thought it was funny because I had asked for an autograph in the picture, and yeah, on my phone. And I had an autograph on my phone, my cube, and my shirt. It was funny, and they were just laughing. This guy Weston was there. Hope he's watching this. I doubt it, but they thought it was funny because I got his autograph on my phone, and so yeah, that was great. Anyways, Weston was cool, but and David Adams was there too. He was alright. No, I'm just kidding. He was pretty cool. So I opened up some pieces while I was sitting there, and when I saw the pieces, they were all stock. Like there's no mods done to them. I mean, I got pretty much every single piece. I got the internal piece. I got this piece, that piece, and this piece and that piece. And I looked at this one too, the sides of it, and it just looked fine. I didn't get it. It was funny too, when I was opening it up, I was hoping he wasn't looking. You know, what are you doing to my cube? His springs cannot be Diane springs because it was so tight and just really stiff. And the Diane springs, what they'll do to the cube is they'll make it'll make the shank shell very like loose, and it can do this. It can do what this does, kind of like that. It can, you know, it'll make it, you know, kind of deform a little bit. This cube, I don't know if you can't really do it, right? The Diane springs will make it do that, and his cube didn't do that at all. So my conclusion would be that the springs he uses, the V-cube springs he uses, are probably longer than stock springs, because, or maybe just the same size but tighter. I don't know though, because if you see right here, there needs to be enough friction. Back to let me get back to this part right here. In order for this to move freely, there needs to be friction. Like this one has friction, right? There needs to be friction right here, and it needs to be tight enough. But that's what I like about this one, is that it's loose-ish. It's not loose, but it's fast. It will deform a little bit depending on how you have your tensions, but it's still got that friction. Because if you try moving a piece like this, it's not loose. This one right here, I don't know if you can see it. It's loose right here. Let me try to focus. Sorry, I'm using my phone. It's kind of loose. This one, it's not. It has that friction, and so his shank shell 6x6 felt like the Aoshi one when it came to that. So I tried moving it, and it just didn't move. Anyways, so it's tight. I don't know what springs he uses. I mean, I know what springs he uses as far as he tells me, but I really think he's not telling us everything. So I asked him about that thing, right? I was like, hey, my cube does this. Why doesn't yours do that? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh, well, what is it? Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And it was funny. I was like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like, you were just about to tell me, right? So I really think he's not telling us everything. Maybe he did something to the cube that he didn't tell us. His cube is not the greatest cube. It could be actually the worst cube I've ever felt, but it's also the best cube I've ever felt. This isn't his, by the way. It's mine. In my opinion, I really don't know exactly how. My cube does not work like his, and I think it has to do with because I don't have those springs. If I can get my hands on the springs, maybe it might turn that way, but I don't know where to get them. If you guys might know where to get them, you can comment and tell me. Maybe get some springs that work like them or exactly like those. And yeah, I can try it out for myself, and I can make another video, I guess. But but out of all the time that I've messed with this cube and have all my experience with it, I would say if you want it to move really good, my opinion, just leave it all stock. Don't even swap any springs. Don't do any mods. Just leave it alone. If anything, adjust the tensions how you like it. Change the stickers if you want. That's what I did. Yeah, it works great with me. I'm not the fastest, like I said. But I'm a decent, and I'm still working on my whole corner cutting. I'm not the greatest. This one, see, I'm still getting used to this. This one, and because I'm not a big fan of this one anymore because of that whole thing. This one does it, but this one I like because it doesn't pop. Really, it really just doesn't pop. This one does. This one doesn't really lock up too much. This one locks up, but this lockups just has to do with practice and your corner cutting and accuracy. Anyway, so that's the video right there of how to explanation, not exactly showing you how to get your cube to be exactly like his, but just a kind of an explanation how to make it work like his. And for the record, I'm not downgrading him in any way of how his cubes are. He has his cube like that because that works for him. If there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you don't have to make your cube like mine because that works for me. I'm using this now, but that works for me. It may not work for you. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, and if you have any other questions, you can leave them down there in the comments thing, I guess. So that's how, in my opinion, how to make your shank shot 6x6 to work great. This one, the way I made this one work great is just make your tensions a bit tighter. I like it this way. I use Z-Lube. You can get that on Light Take. If you guys want to see any other videos of other cubes, maybe 3 through 7, I can also make videos of that too, because 6x6 is not the only one I've opened up many times and studied the cube itself. I know other ones too, so yeah, that's all.